goddamn get it on, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories. We running through New York.
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be going over the 5 scams mechanics never tell you, and the things that mechanics will do to your car to make you keep spending money at their garage. And a lot of the time it's usually before a lot of you guys either have your inspection or before you guys have your MOT. Or the majority of the time it's women that end up becoming a target of these certain scams, and I'm going to show you what to avoid. So as you see here, we're going to be using the BMW E60. Now this isn't just specific for the BMW E60, and it's not specific just for the BMWs at all. This is like goes for any car, any said car. This is the kind of tricks that mechanics will use to pull fast ones, and I'm going to show you what these scams are. So guys, what a lot of mechanics won't tell you is the first thing you'll do is when you go to a garage, they will, if you're not too certain about a car, is disconnect one of your sensors or cut the wiring to the ECU or to one of the sensors and tell you that you've got a big problem with your car to make you spend money. A lot of the time it will be something simple which they know how to put back. So for instance, your ignition coil wires, or they'll put 40 ignition coils in your car from a previous model because they know how expensive they are, and they'll put them in another car that comes in to that way make money, or to make your car throw a code. Now the best way to avoid any mechanic scamming you from either cutting wires or pulling plugs off certain sensors that a lot of you ain't going to know when you're in the garage, the easiest way is to take or buy a cheap scanner with you that you can check your car before it goes in for any faults. Now, being with BMW, it can't be a generic scanner, as many of you guys know. If you do have a simple car like a Ford or a Chevy or a Dodge that can run on generic codes, which give you a list of different codes, carry it with you to scan your car. And also, if you've got a check engine light, make sure you find out what that code is before you go to a garage. The reason I'm telling you that, you could take it to a garage and they will scan it, and they could tell you something else or something else, and you will have the proof on your scanner of what the actual cause is. Secondly, if you scan it before you take it to a garage and then they try and disconnect a sensor or cut a wire to another sensor on your engine or your ignition coils or your MAF sensor, which a lot of garages like to do as well, is disconnect this plug, and you guys will never know it's even disconnected. You will have it all on your scanner, so you won't need to rely on the garage or take it back to them to make them hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Because you've got to remember, a garage charges £60 per every diagnostic fee. So if you keep taking it back and taking it back every time they pull a wire or do something wrong or don't put something back right, just imagine how much money you're going to give them just for diagnostics alone. Another common trick on a lot of cars, especially new cars, which I'm going to explain to you, which is another scam that a lot of mechanics do, is they'll get oil in a little bottle and they will pour it all over your bits here until you've got leaks. So for instance, on the valve cover, they'll pour oil all down here on the oil filter housing itself, and they'll tell you that there's an oil leak from there. Or what they end up doing is on your shocks as well, which is the shock itself, they have got a rubber boot on them, and they'll spray oil all over the rubber and then tell you it's warning this leaking oil to make you replace the shocks. That is another common problem that a lot of garages do. Now, I'm being very honest with you guys. I used to work in garages and we used to do this a lot. And I'm telling you, we used to do this a lot because it is the way you used to make money. Now, if many of you guys ain't aware, MOT, I'm just going to break this down for a lot of you guys who don't know, is that MOT in the UK is very, very profitable. The reason that's profitable is because of this one reason, is that the garage itself gets £45 out of every MOT. Vosa only get £5 out of every single one. Now you guys will think to yourself, that's the reason why a lot of quick fit and places like that can charge £35 per MOT. But they're very smart. If you've ever gone to the £35 MOT centres or very cheap MOTs, for instance, you'll realise there's a reason for that. When you go in, you're not going to walk in there with just a £35 MOT. You're going to end up walking out of a huge bill for all repairs as well related for your car, to make you spend more on that car than you think you're going to get just for the £35 on your MOT. And a lot of people ain't aware of that. It's the same with oil changes. When they see garages saying £30 oil changes, do not believe that crap. A lot of these garages are using very cheap filters and very cheap oil to actually change your oil. A lot of garages give lifetime oil changes. A lot of garages like Quick Fit will give lifetime brake pad change. This is all crap, because if you change ownership with your car, or you don't keep the car that long, that brake pad change for lifetime is void. It is not transferable to another owner. So therefore, your brake pads for life crap is all crap. It's not actually valid. The same with tires. If you get a tire wear guarantee or a tire puncture warranty, it is not covered and it's not transferable to another owner. All this stuff that garages make you believe is actually real is all crap, you know. So don't ever believe any of these garages that say lifetime oil changes, brake pad changes for life, tire change for life. It's all crap. No garage will make you do that. They'll always make you spend extra money. There is no way you can end up using tires for normal wear and tear and getting them to actually pay out for anything they say is free. It's absolute bullshit. It's not going to happen. Now, I've seen it many times where people come up to the garages and they either have this problem and that problem, and I'm not saying every mechanic does this. There's a lot of honest garages out there that don't take advantage of people, and that's why in the UK we have a thing called the Good Garage Scheme. For them to get that, they have to be open and honest. But there is a lot of garages out there, if they see you come with a BM, if they see you come with a Mercedes, they know you got money. So what they usually say here is their common way of saying it is, we've been there, we've replaced that part for you, but we've managed to find other things they're going to need replacing later on in the future. Now, when they say in the future, what most garages are meaning when they say in the future is meaning they want you to actually say replace it now, because they would rather get it done, because they'll say to you, oh, it's either something under the manifold if they've been down there, we're better off to replace it now, oh, we're going to have to go back down there, we're going to have to charge you the same labour rate again to go back down there. That's what they'll usually say, that you don't have to charge you all over again. And this is vice versa for a lot of parts on the car. If they're somewhere, for instance, I don't know, under the air filter box, and they find something underneath there, they'll say, oh, this is a bit frayed, it ain't badly worn, but it's going to go out, give it another few thousand miles, it'll go, you're going to need to get it replaced, so we'll have to go back down there again. What they're trying to instigate is they want you to complete that job now, and that's how they get more money. The more things they find that are faulty, that don't need replacing immediately, they will tell you they do, so then you panic and then you get it done again. This is why it's best for you guys alone to fix your own cars and to avoid garages. Just use them for MOT. Garages will come up with all sorts, you know, when you go in for MOT, and they'll come up with all sorts when you're going for one engine problem. They'll say either they can't diagnose it, or they don't have the proper scan tool, or this has come up, or that's come up, or this ain't functioning properly, or they don't know how to do it. And I get a lot of people every day messaging me, you guys don't understand, especially with these cars, that people have took them to garages, nobody understands them, they're trying to use their auto logic, they're trying to use this, it ain't fixing their car's fault, they can't redo the DME, they can't redo this. And a lot of garages do not understand most of the cars that go into their workshop. They run just a normal garage and they want to specialize in everything, and the pure fact is, if a garage has to specialize in everything, and this is something I am a very, very strong believer in, nobody can specialize in all makes and models on a car. It's physically impossible to specialize in all makes and models of cars throughout the years. You need to be probably about 300 years old. It is virtually impossible to specialize in all different brands. That is like me saying I specialize in BM, Ford, and having every car. If a garage is saying they specialize in everything and they do everything, that means they're not a garage. Let's put it simply, to do brakes on a BM is not the same to do brakes on a Mercedes, and to do even newer cars is very different to what you would find on a BMW with the electronic handbrake. And to do a BMW with the electronic handbrake is completely different to the way you would do it on a Mercedes as well, because Mercedes use a completely different handbrake system to what BMW does. And this is what I'm trying to explain to you. What it's like on one is not the same on the other. So a garage cannot specialize in all of them, and that's the same for Renault and Ford as well. They are both not the same, they're very similar. So when you're taking it to a garage, they just have a generic scanner that scans all cars, and that's why a lot of them cannot fix the faults. When you take it to BMW, and then a lot of you tell me that you've took your car to a BMW specialist and they haven't been able to diagnose your cars because they're not a specialist. They can't be a specialist as specializing in all different makes and models. A specialist is someone who strictly sticks by one brand and that's it. Even German specialists, you cannot have a German specialist that mostly does Volkswagen and Audi and they do the occasional BMW once a week. That is just physically impossible, and that's not a specialist. So as I said to you guys, women plays the biggest part in funding garages, especially in the UK, and that's probably the same in the USA as well, because women are very gullible and whatever they tell the garage is what they pay. And there's a lot of men as well who don't understand nothing about cars and just have a lot of money and just pay whatever the garage asks for, and these are the people that keep these garages in business day in, day out. And as many people have said, when you're giving money to garages, you're better off to just be setting your money on fire and burning it, because you're giving away free money for something you could actually physically do yourself, which a lot of people are very lazy to actually get off and just fix their own car, which the majority of the stuff is very, very simple, but you're given labour cost for an hour and a half at probably 60-70 pound for that hour and a half just to a garage for doing nothing, which you could have done probably in quicker time. And most garages make you wait a whole day just to change an oil. It's absolutely ridiculous, and you're not going to get no benefit, no difference from a garage doing it to you doing it as well. So I hope this has cleared a lot of things up, and these are the kind of scams you need to avoid by a lot of garages. Thank you very much for watching. This BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.